What's going on, YouTubers, gamers and hobbyists, and welcome to Airbrushing for Beginners, the series where I teach you all about airbrushing from start to finish. Now, in previous episodes we've covered the airbrush itself, the compressor, PSI, cleaning and maintenance of your airbrush, changing paints both quick and quicker. And so now we come to, let's get some actual colour down on our models. Now, the ones you see in front of you at the moment, they're little pod things, little alien models I've got for my various games on the go, but they are part of a set. Now, these spires are part of that set, and they are ideal models, I realized, for beginning airbrush techniques because of their kind of linear lines and angles, because they kind of go into one focal point. So these are going to be perfect for what we're going to do. We're going to get some color down on these, but I will show you how we will get that done and the separation of the colors without masking. So without further ado, okay, so let's have a look at what we need. First of all, I'll be using my Badger Patriot 105, my workhorse, my go-to airbrush. And of course, these are the models in question that I'm going to be painting. Glove, obviously, I only use one. Toothbrush, paper towel, and some Windowling. Any glass cleaner will do a decent job of cleaning out your airbrush. So we're going to go with Minotaur's cracked leather for this first layer or first colour that I'm going to apply to these models. So give it a good shake. The Minotaur paints are quite well thinned down. Okay, let's have a look, see how much we put in. Just a few drops really, don't need much. You can see how much I'm putting in the cup there. Always better to put in not enough than too much because it dries around the rim of the cup. Give it a quick squirt, make sure the air is flowing through okay with the colour coming through. Yep, that's lovely. Okay, so start spraying, feel the air coming out away from the area you want to spray the colour on first. And then gradually go through. Imagine that the tip of your airbrush is kind of like a colouring crayon or colouring pencil, and you're just gently going backwards and forwards over this larger area, just backwards and forwards, trying to get an even coverage. Don't pull the trigger all the way back, just feel it, ease it through. When you want to get to an area where you don't want to overlap, get closer to the model and ease back on the throttle, as it were. For the first layer, you don't really need to worry about it too much because the next layer of paint on this particular model is going to come up to the edge, so I'm not particularly worried. Although I wasn't blasting the paint out. Never at any stage did I have the trigger fully back. And for this stage, I used a PSI of around about 26, 27, and that gave me the correct PSI. I just kind of know what certain paints, what PSIs I need, and that's the one I needed for that. Okay, so we're going on with some Angelic Blood now, which is a really nice red colour from Minotaur. Once again, about the same number of drops in the cup. Turning my PSI down now to just around about 20 PSI now, because I don't want it blasting out, not that it was anyway on its previous PSI setting, but I want it to be even gentler now, just checking the airflow on my hand. It's good to have gloved hands for this. And I meant to say actually before, with these dual action airbrushes, you can depress the trigger and the air will come through, and paint will not start to flow until you pull back the trigger, which is essentially pulling the needle back. So what I like to do is I like to try and keep the air flowing as much as I possibly can in these instances. Again, you get a little bit closer than I did before. Pretend like it's the end of the the airbrush is like a colouring pen or a felt tip or something like that, and I just go backwards and forwards. But you know, I like to keep it moving, even if it's a short movements, but rather than let the paint build up on any one area too much, just colour in each section, and I go through, and you can see gradually. Patience is the key with airbrushing. It really is, particularly when you're highlighting. We'll come on to that in a moment, but or not so much highlighting, but when you're trying to draw the eye's attention, so you're kind of picking on highlighted spots. But for this part, we're doing the red now, and we're interlocking it into the brown, the cracked leather that we've already got on there, onto this this horrible looking grotesque thing, which is I imagine it coming out of the ground or up out of the ground, that kind of thing. But yeah, I just to get it to match, not the match exactly the smaller pods, but to give a sense of, yeah, that could belong to that, because that is a red too, although much brighter. And of course I'll be dealing with what shades are my preferences, you know, with glazes and shading and all the other good stuff. So that's, you know, what you need to do there. Just keep it close to the model, keep looking at the model as you go. It's always good. And make sure, of course I will say, do this in a well ventilated area. I'm just doing this for the purpose of the tutorial, just to get, because it's difficult. It really is difficult to do an airbrush tutorial in a booth. It's, well, I know it can be done because people do it, but I just find it incredibly encumbering. I find it quite difficult as it is with the camera angles and stuff, but yeah, you just get that that edge down, and you'll find it is a lot easier than you would first think. It really is. It's kind of a stigma to get over, like one of those fears you have to get over. Go, well, yeah, I can airbrush, I can blast the paint on in a primer, the whole thing, and I can base coat the whole model. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. You can still do sections, and it doesn't use a lot of paint. I'll just take a couple of pictures as I go, just so you can kind of see the build up and the progress as we go there. All right. So there you go. That's a couple of colours down onto this model. So you've seen at least bringing two colours together and how to separate it. And we're not masking at this stage of our airbrush series. So this is how you can do it without masking. You just got to use your eye. It's just like colouring within the lines, really. If you can colour within them, keep within the lines, then you're pretty good to go. And of course, this is with an airbrush which is kind of regarded as a general airbrush. It's not a fine detail brush, so bear that in mind too. All right, so that is the part one of getting the colors on the model. Thanks ever so much for watching this video. Remember, all brushes lead to war. I'll see you on the next one, and we can get some more colors down and see how they come together. Okay, and we'll alter our PSI again as well. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.